Hi guys, it's Vic. Hello, hello, hello. I hope that you are all doing well. It has been a New York minute. I don't even know what that means. I don't know why people say that. Since I made a video. But my son is taking a nap, and I figured I would do a quick ASMR style video showing you guys some books that I recently bought at both Target and Barnes & Noble. I kind of have you set up on my vanity because I am in the process of putting my makeup on. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick ASMR video, and hopefully those of you who have been missing my videos will think that this is relaxing and fall asleep, either from tingles, relaxation, or boredom. I definitely have to do another update video though soon, just talking about what's been going on. A lot of crazy things. My husband and I are trying for baby number 2. We haven't had any luck yet, and as much as I'll be grateful when we have a baby, I'm sure once I'm pregnant and feel like crap, I'll regret my decision not to have a baby, but just, I don't really know many women that love pregnancy. But I'll do an update video soon. Okay, so I wanted to make this quick video, and don't mind my nails, they're still a mess from Valentine's Day. I need to get them filled. But basically, I wanted to do a video on these books that I got. Okay, so let me explain that my husband and I watched this show on Netflix called You, Y-O-U. It's called You. They only had 1 season out. I believe they're coming out with season 2. It was a book first, and now it's a show. And I am obsessed with it. Obsessed. It is a show. I'm not going to give any spoilers because there's just too many twists and turns. But it's a show about this guy named Joe and this girl named Beck. Her name is Guinevere Beck. Everybody calls her Beck. And he becomes obsessed with her. And it's like a Pretty Little Liars meets Riverdale meets, well, pretty much it's like Pretty Little Liars and Riverdale, kind of like the theme of those shows, but it's so good. It's kind of, I don't know if it's like suspense, psychological thriller. It's so amazing. Oh my God. Some of the shows that we watch, we watched all the Pretty Little Liars, which was, Pretty Little Liars was good, but it's kind of juvenile looking back on it. And one of the girls from Pretty Little Liars actually plays a main character in You. Riverdale is amazing. We watch Riverdale and we're obsessed with it. But You is on Netflix. It's 1 season. I really suggest you guys go watch it. It's so good. So I started getting into these types of books. And You has a second book out by the same author. It's called Hidden Bodies. And apparently it's about the main character named Joe. You can see my pregnancy test over there. The main character, Joe, it's like about what happens after the first book. But the reviews on it were not that good, so I didn't read it, especially because I'd much rather watch the show. Okay, so I'm going to show you these books that I got. This is the first book I'm currently reading, and one of my New Year's resolutions was to try and read 1 book for the entire year per month. And I have an almost 2-year-old toddler, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. There's no way in hell I'm getting that done with him chasing him around. So it is what it is. But anyways, this is the first book. It's called The Revenge. and I will read the back to you. It says, Tony wanted revenge. What he got was so much worse. Breakups can be messy. After his ex-girlfriend Hope embarrasses him in front of the entire school, Tony wants revenge. So he signs her up for an online dating site, subscriptions, and even makes the location of her phone public. And it works. A few days later, Hope calls begging Tony to stop the prank. Then she screams and a car door slams. The call drops. Tony tries to keep cool. It's just like Hope to get back at him with more drama. But when Hope isn't at school the next day, Tony knows the joke has gone too far and may have led a predator to his ex's door. Can Tony find Hope and save her before it's too late for the both of them? And these are other books by the same author. Okay, so this book, I'm on chapter 7. It's really, really good. Like it's, excuse me, it's like page turning. But it's kind of juvenile. Like it's kind of, I feel like it's like a preteen book. But I made a commitment to see this New Year's resolution through with reading more because I do love to read. So I am going to finish it. But yeah, I mean, it's really good for the most part. Okay, the second book is The Cabin by Natasha Preston. And it says, they think they're invincible. They think they can do and say whatever they want. They think there are no consequences. They've left me no choice. It's time for them to pay for their sins. A weekend partying at a remote cabin is just what Mackenzie needs. She can't wait to let loose with her friends, but a crazy night of fun leaves 2 of them dead, murdered. With no signs of a forced entry or struggle, suspicion turns to the 5 survivors. Someone isn't telling the truth, and Mackenzie's first mistake? Assuming the killing is over. And this author also has other books. She has more than this, but I mean, I read the reviews on this and I heard it was good. Like I said, I'm super into these types of books right now currently. So that being said, I'm going to just stick to my plan and read them. And if they suck, they suck. I mean, if it's agonizing, I'll put it with my book collection, but they should be okay to, handle. Okay. This book I heard was really, really good. I heard this author is amazing. It's called The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. And I heard it was really, really good. There's really only one little snippet of the book down here, and it says, a single cryptic text, I need you, reunites 4 friends in the stippled light of an English seaside village, just as surely as it signals readers that they're in the hands of a pro. The Lying Game makes good on its premise that tall tales have consequences, especially when they're exposed to the glare of truth. And apparently this was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. I don't really know what it's about, but I heard it's really, really good. I heard this is really good, and a book called Into the Water. I don't know if it's by Ruth Ware, but it was 20% off, and Target's kind of pricey, so I'm like, I might as well grab it. Okay, so this book I picked up at Barnes & Noble on the 40% off rack right in front, and it's called She Lies in Wait. And the funny thing about this book is the day that I bought it, I met I feel like I have met maybe 3 or 4 women, over the last year in the most random places. And we become friends and we exchange numbers and become friends on social media, but we never can find the time to hang out. Quick side note, I met a really nice girl that works at Carter's when I was in there shopping for my son. And I had seen her a few times at the grocery store, oddly enough, because we grocery shop at the same place, 3 times after I would go into Carter's. I think I saw her at the grocery store. And she has a 3-year-old and I believe 1-year-old twins. And we just, like, talking to her, when I met her at Carter's, I feel like I'd known her forever. We just, like, you know how you vibe with people? Like, we just totally clicked. So we exchanged numbers the one day when we saw each other at the grocery store. And we would keep saying, like, let's hang out, let's hang out. And we totally, like, we follow each other on Instagram and, like, comment back and forth. And we'll text every now and again. And she already told me, like, if you and, you know, your husband have a girl, because she knows I'm trying to get pregnant, she's like, I have a ton of girl stuff, like, from my little one, let me know, because she knows I have a boy, obviously. And we always keep saying we're going to get together for play dates, and then, like, we totally don't have time. And then when I got this book, I met this really, really nice girl named Ashley. She's a nurse, and she had overheard me asking the book clerk for a recommendation, and she was like, I don't want to interrupt, but, like, she's like, I'm such a book nerd, and she's like a super cute girl. I think we would have a lot in common with, like, types of movies and books that we would like, but I think our personalities in terms of, like, I'm super, like, girly. Well, no, she's girly. I can't explain it. Like, I don't want to say she's nerdy because I'm nerdy in my own way, but, like, our personalities were similar with how outgoing we were, but, like, we're into different things. Like, I like different things than she likes, if that makes sense. I don't know. I can't explain it. She struck me as, like, very artsy, and, like, I'm not an artsy type girl. I'm more of, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm basically stuck in the 80s. I'm obsessed with, like, the 80s and, like, the 50s and 60s era, and she's very, like, seems like one of those girls that would be into, like, slam poetry, if that makes sense. I don't know. And I'm not bad-mouthing her because she was super sweet, but we actually hit it off talking about books, and we exchanged numbers and social media information. And I told her, like, we should totally go to, like, old bookstores and libraries one day and, like, get a coffee, and it would be, like, a nice afternoon out, you know, without my son. And she's like, oh my God, yeah. And because she's a nurse, our schedules just don't link up. But anyways, needless to say, her and I became friends at the bookstore, and she is, like, a speed reader. She read this book in, I think, a day, and she texted me after she read it and was like, oh my God, She Lies in Wait was so good, because she ended up buying it too. She was like, it was such a good book. Like, you have to read it. I couldn't put it down. I finished it in a day. So that's the whole babble leading up to this book. But I will read you the summary, synopsis, if you will. Okay, it says, if you go down to the woods today. On a scorching July night in 1983, a group of teenagers goes camping in the forest. Bright and brilliant, they are destined for great things, and the youngest of the group, Aurora Jackson, is delighted to be allowed to tag along. The evening starts like any other. They drink, they dance, they fight, they kiss. Some of them slip off into the woods in pairs. Others are left jealous and heartbroken. But by morning, Aurora has disappeared, and her friends claim she was safe the last time they saw her, right before she went to sleep. An exhaustive investigation is launched, but no trace of the teenager is ever found. 30 years later, Aurora's body is unearthed in a hideaway that only 6 friends knew about, and Jonah Sheens is put in charge of solving the long, cold case. Back in 1983, as a young cop in their small town, he had known the teenagers, including Aurora, personally, even before taking part in the search. Now he's determined to finally get the truth of what happened that night. Sheen's investigation brings the members of the camping party back to the forest, where they will be confronted once and again with the events that left one of them dead and all of them profoundly changed forever. This searing, psychologically captivating novel marks the arrival of a dazzling new talent and the start of a new series featuring Detective Chief Inspector Jonah Sheens. So, anyways, that is that book, and it's called She Lies in Wait by Githa Lodge. Githa, I don't know how you say that. And the girl, Ashley, that I met told me it was like phenomenal and she couldn't put it down. And she said how wonderful it was and like page turner, the whole nine. So, yeah, I'm like looking forward to reading that. But my game plan is to finish The Revenge, then read The Cabin, then read this, then read this. And I also have, sorry guys, hold on. I also have this book here. It's called Spirit Babies, How to Communicate with the Child You're Meant to Have. And it's a book about, I don't know, just the spirituality, I guess, of like trying to connect with your babies before they're born. It says a renowned clairvoyant medium tells you how to connect with your child before and after conception. And I will say this, I'm not a religious person by any means. I was brought up Catholic, but I don't go to church. I know that's terrible. I'm just not religious. I've always been more spiritual. I believe there is I do pray to God, but I believe that there is just a greater power than all of us out there. I don't want to get into a debate about it. I'm just explaining why I bought this book. I believe in like mediums. I'm just super into like crystals and I don't know. I just like things like that. And I'm a firm believer ever since I had my son. I've always been very spiritual, and I've always had a very, very intuitive sixth sense, always. And I see this gentleman, he's kind of like a hippie, but basically I see him like once a month, and he's an energist. He pulls like your energy cords and things like that. And he said to me, like, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's a lot of bullshit. But he said, your son 100% chose you. He's very into like the astrological signs and birth charts, and I'm very, very into that. So this book I think is kind of nice in me trying to have a second baby, because it's kind of just guiding me. So I like to read that, you know, like in between when I'm reading the book that I'm reading now. And yeah, that's why I have that, but I don't think anybody's interested in that. So those are my books. I'm sorry this is such a short ASMR video, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this for tingle-inducing purposes. Tingle, 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 tingle. And yeah, I will have to do an update video soon. Here are some books if anybody wants to get them and talk about them with me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.